Very focused. We have our priority that we move, especially in market niches, such as embedded systems, semiconductor and IC design, RFID technology, and so on. And we have followed a very specific plan consistently for the last 7, 8 years. We started with human capital, and without dropping human capital, we moved on to capacity building, especially regarding certification of SMEs for software development. Then we moved, without dropping capacity building and human capital, we moved onward to infrastructure. And then from infrastructure to productive projects, which our Ministry for Finance hates because they're supposed to be subsidies. And according to the Ministry of Finance, nobody subsidizes, and that's probably because they haven't even read the OECD publications. Everybody subsidizes, starting with the US, obviously, and Europe, and Japan, and obviously Korea. So that's the name of the game. So we stopped going into productive projects, and we started focusing on users. So now the subsidy is transferred to the client, and that has proven to be enormously successful. We have managed to attract foreign direct investment for over $600 million. We have created over 19,000 jobs in less than 7 years, with an average monthly wage of $2,037 US, in spite of the devaluation of almost 30% in 2008. We have actually produced wealth, and over $1 billion in 2009, which is 1.7% of our GDP. We have over 590 new projects, and we have earned now the motto of the Mexican economic miracle. We currently generate about 12% of all the IT services and 23% of Mexico's software. We don't like to call ourselves a cluster. We call ourselves our ecosystem. That's a map of Guadalajara, but you see not only the logos of the companies, but also some caricatures of the main leaders of this effort, and most of them come from the private sector. And we set up the Jalisco State Institute of IT, which has become the executing arm, and it's a public-private partnership where business plays a major role. Now I'm going to go very quickly through the e-inclusion, because that's the other side, the social side. We have been very successful in terms of the economic side, but we still have to become successful in the social side. Here you can see more or less the digital divide. I don't know if you can more or less look at this, but about 21% of the population, which is in the highest quintile, they have 63% of internet access, and about 27-28% of the appropriation in terms of actually using ICT. That gives you an idea more or less how the different Mexican states are in the chart. And this is what I'm very critical of. These are the ICT penetration rates back in 2000. For example, if you look at the states which are here in red, these are the least developed part of Mexico. This is the southeast. But not all of Mexico is at the same level. And then we have, this is 9 years later. This is a courtesy of Telmex, our dominant telco. I've come after all these years, I can't say that I hate all telcos, but I hate most telcos, because they are responsible for actually checking the development of ICT in a country such as ours. As you can see, 9 years after, everything, well, the map looks better. It's more equally distributed in terms of penetration rates. There are now 0 states with less than 5% of households with ICT, and that's basically broadband. But there are 2 states with very low rates of ICT penetration, and over 75% of internet access is through broadband. But Telmex is still the dominating force, despite supposedly more competition. Now that's the fact. So in Mexico is now starting to work. It's a federal program, but it's again being run at the state level, which I think it's a very big advantage for a country such as ours. And we have 3 front lines: connectivity, accessibility, and appropriation. The basic strategy in terms of our digital agenda are going to be the telecenters, which are the Club Digital, or digital clubs, and it's managed basically through youth organizations, and the idea is to get the younger generation to teach both the older generation and the kids. And they're sort of carefully placed all over our territory, and we have a community customized portfolio. There's a very important investment in inclusion, basically, for example, in the case of satellites. And in the case of Jalisco, we have about 1.6 million households. Out of those, right now, mostly close to 30% of them have a computer. And what really I want to bring your attention is to the digital divide within our SMEs. Employees with access to computer, only 27%. I think this must sound like science fiction here in Korea. The firms with access to internet, 90%. That sounds good. Employees with access to the internet, 17%, and firms with a knowledge management policy, 17%. So we don't have problems regarding gender. As a matter of fact, women are far more clever in using internet than men. Men lose a lot of time using internet. And we're targeting those age groups, and basically we're putting a lot of emphasis on the slightly older generation. And we are trying to bridge both the soft divide and the hard divide. The hard divide, there's a national inclusion campaign for adults. We're mobilizing university students to teach adults. We have this telecenter strategy I told you about, mostly in marginalized urban areas. And we are hoping to add 20 million adults through this strategy over the next 5 years. And in terms of the soft divide, there's a digital classroom strategy, which is very advanced. And all elementary and secondary schools will be connected through broadband and educational programs by 2012. That's specifically the case of Jalisco. And the second phase is content development. We're doing right now a very big effort in e-health, but it's e-health, e-education, e-government, basically red tape and community centers. So we're very concerned about the digital divide in private firms. What do the small firms, the SMEs, use internet for? And obviously, they use it for searching for information, they use it for online communication, they do it also for electronic transactions. But the problem here is that, for example, regarding open source, it's the large US multinationals, the ones that are leaning more towards open source rather than the SMEs. And most of the software applications are packaged software like antivirus or spreadsheets, word processing, databases, and so on. So we're really trying to work very hard on this. We're pushing SMEs towards the use of more information technologies, more knowledge management, and these are the basic conclusions. And this is really meant basically for the federal government, and the rest they come from the state government. But I have both hats, the federal government and the state government right now, and also the WITSA hat. So no more rhetoric, more results. Diagnose, measure, map, investigate. So develop local indicators like the ones I showed you for Jalisco. Knowledge, local indicators and knowledge in terms of one size does not fit all. Empower people. We really believe in empowering people, especially women. And designing policy instruments which are both gender, age, vulnerable groups specific, and emphasize content. Broadband for all. Here we need the rectorate of the state. Never trust the telcos, especially not Telmex. And the regulating body, which is COFETEL, but we call it COFETELMEX, because you almost know who they work for. And if there's no supply, intervene and subsidize, whether the Ministry of Finance likes it or not. Include the SMEs, habilitate the entrepreneurs, show them the money, and motivate, incentivate. Communicate results, use role models, and publicize success cases. Maybe then we will be able to boast the same results as Korea. Thank you very much.